All right. And then you have to get the whole box. I'll leave it out here. Huh?
Which Chodesh is Sunday, Mitzvah Shem?
Sunday, Monday, no?
Sunday, Monday?
Elul's always 2 days.
Uh-huh. So blow shayf on Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Can you believe that?
No.
Pretty crazy.
But Avi got me to thinking about it. So,
Avi?
yeah, the different Avi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Kippur Garden was today.
You did it?
My office did it, yeah.
Wow. Pretty good. I didn't do it.
I don't know why, but it felt longer.
All right, let's go. We ready? What are we on? Chav Chesam and Beis, right? What time are we
Yes.
doing tomorrow? 10 to 6?
I guess so.
It's a pretty short daf, so I guess we'll do 10 to 6. All right, so we said yesterday's Mishna on Chav Chesam and Beis that you have to make your house temporary and your sukkah keva. And you're supposed to bring all your fancy, right? The Gemara said you're supposed to bring all your fancy things into the sukkah. Yes, Minani immediately. We're 5 lines up from the bar, 6 lines up from the bar. Yes, Minani, how do you know? The Torah about Teshu came to Duru. You have to live in a sukkah the way you're supposed to normally live. A person has to make his sukkah set and his house temporary. If he has nice kalim, ma'ilin the sukkah. He brings him to the sukkah. Matzah noise, nice bedding. Ma'ilin the sukkah, he brings him to the sukkah. Oichol b'shaisa u'metayel b'sukkah. You eat and you drink, and metayel b'sukkah, and you hang out in the sukkah. U'meshanen b'sukkah, and you also learn in the sukkah. Yeah. Now, what does that mean? Right, so we're going to see, right? The way Rashi understands it now, that means you're learning the Ian. You're learning in depth. Yeah. So it says, it's not true. You should read psukim and mishnayos in the sukkah. But learning Gemara, in-depth analysis, whatever you call that, should be outside the sukkah. Why? Since you have to work on it a lot harder, so you want to be in a comfortable place, like in a besmerish or whatever it is, and sitting in a sukkah, you may not think so well. All right. So the Gemara answers like kasha, habi migras, habi ino. One is talking about where you're learning fast, that's the migras. And habi ayune, one is talking about where you learn the ian. Yeah, so the ian, you're allowed to learn Rashi the way Rashi understands it. But ian, since you need to really give it a lot of thought, therefore you can learn it outside the sukkah if you want to. Meaning, it doesn't mean it's usher to learn it inside the sukkah. But if you think you're going to concentrate better, not in the sukkah, so then you don't learn in the sukkah. But the key is that you should learn in the sukkah.
Isn't a sukkah supposed to take over your house?
Yes, but we're saying
So if you normally learn the Beis Medrash,
no, but that's only yeah. But if you're gonna do better not in the sukkah, then you don't do in the sukkah.
So this only applies
even
to
B'kiyas. I'm saying even
It only
B'kiyas. If you
applies to
normally go to
learning
Beis
the
Medrash. Even B'kiyas, if you normally go Chumash Rashi or Mishnayos, if you learn that in the Beis Medrash, why do you have to learn that in the sukkah?
If you'll learn it better in Besmerish, then yeah, in Chanami.
No, the easier stuff that they said you have to.
The way Rashi What do you say?
Is Tully at home or in the base measures right now?
Me?
Yeah.
I happen to be at one time. Well, I'm not asking what to. I'm at home. But
He's in his
I'm
home right
asking-
now.
Right. I'm asking if a person normally. Let me finish. Let me finish. If I'm talking about if a person normally learns in the Spanish, he doesn't learn at home. Why on Sukkah does he have to learn the Chumash, the Mishna in the Sukkah? He normally learns in the base Spanish. Sukkah is not supposed to take over the base Spanish.
And a Hanami, so that would be.
You're supposed to be learning all the time, so whatever you're supposed to be doing.
And a Hanami, if you're going to learn better in the Sukkah, then if you're going to learn better in Bismedish, then learn in the Bismedish.
And even if you're not going to learn better in the base in the base Spanish,
yeah,
just as that's where you normally learn. Why does the Sukkah have to take that over?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. Okay. That's
But
what it
if
said.
you learn normally at home, so then learn in the Sukkah. If you're going to learn better in the Bismedish, learn in the Bismedish.
But you shouldn't learn at home if you have the Sukkah.
Rabbeinu Hananel says the opposite of Rashi. Rabbeinu Hananel says the opposite of Rashi. He says that Chazara is considered arai, so you don't need to sit in the Sukkah. Ian is like you sit down and you work on it for a long time, so that's more kavua than you should be in the Sukkah for. Right? What were you saying, David?
So tasteful gain to do here doesn't apply to learning. Whatever you're more comfortable, whatever you're gonna have more concentration, that's where you should go. If it's inside, it's inside. If it's in the base measures, it's in the base measures. But tasteful gain to do doesn't apply to learning.
Yeah, that's what it seems. Yeah, because the way I'm understanding it is that it's like sort of a mitzvah. Just like we know that if somebody's a mitzvah from the sukkah, he's patur. So if somebody can't learn well because he's in the sukkah, then he's a mitzvah. But at least for learning, he's a mitzvah. Right?
That's exactly what Rashi says.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. That's the way. I mean. Yeah, but then the only question is then why are they being mechal between bekiyas and be'i or however way? Why don't you just say it's subjective? Finished. Subjective. You like to learn you learn better in the sukkah. That's what Naftali is really asking. It just seems like is Akiva. This is your thing. Is that is it subjective? Is mitzvah subjective or objective? Meaning, is mitzvah up to each individual person, or is it like, hey, it's not so cold, right? Or the mosquitoes are not so bad, or whatever.
Well, why did the Mishnah give a definitive? I mean, I don't know. The Mishnah seems to imply there is something that they want to define when it comes to mitzvah, because the Mishnah gave a definitive time when the food is getting ruined. Meaning, why did Mishnah even give a definitive amount if it's subjective?
Right. So we're gonna hold off and see. Let's see we'll see the Gemara Vayta because it's gonna discuss it.
Isn't the way Rashi learns Haba Migras Haba Yuni? Doesn't it take half of that out of it? The way Rashi learns the answer Haba Migras Haba Yuni, it's a new Gemara. You need Sarim. You need things to understand it, so you can't learn in the Sukkah. The original Brisa wasn't telling us that you can't learn a new sugya. You're allowed to learn a new sugya. Go to the Beis Medrash and learn it. You don't have to be in the sukkah for that.
Okay, I hear that, Pshat. I hear you. I'm saying, but you don't have.
The bad thing, you have to be in the sukkah.
1 second. So 1 second. Let's say you're going to learn better in the Beis Medrash. You know you're going to learn better in shul.
I mean, I'm not davening in my sukkah, right? I'm davening in shul. So why is learning any different than davening?
Right. So meaning, let's say a guy decides he wants to sit in the sukkah. He doesn't want to learn better. Saying, what happens if he knows he's going to learn better in shul, but he wants to be Mekayim sukkah? Is that right?
Is he mitzvah? He's not mitzvah. Let him learn.
What happens if he's a mitzvah to go out of the sukkah?
Right, exactly.
He doesn't want to go out of the sukkah.
Right. So but is he going to get einish a bit of Torah?
No, he's learning something else.
No, but he could be learning
something
at a
else.
higher. He could be learning at a higher level.
I can't believe Rav Aaron and I just said the exact same word.
No, but Rav Aaron is saying he's mitzvah. He doesn't want to go daven. He doesn't want to leave the sukkah to go daven.
Right. That's what I wanted
I
to
was
say
coming from the
before.
same way.
Shmuel David, if somebody never leaves the sukkah, he doesn't have to go to shul to daven. He could daven in the sukkah be yechidus. Doesn't have to go to shul. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's
and there are people who are nohig that.
I'm not going to answer you.
No, I'm just, and there, it's a nice theory, but does anyone actually do that?
You better be very confident in your kavanah. That's all. You better be very confident to do that. Right?
Or it's Yaakov. You just you don't daven at all in anything. So what's a chilik?
You can go with that train of thought too. But isn't that the reason why the people that sit in the sukkah in the rain? Isn't that the reason why the people sit in the sukkah in the rain? Because they're more desire to leave than to stay. Right?
Yes.
That's the svara.
Peretz has an ulterior motive. Peretz has ulterior motive because if he davens in the sukkah, he's the first at the kiddush.
Yeah, no. The reason why Peretz is not, Peretz would make a minion in the sukkah, except Yeshiv Farakoi Bachrim have off Ben Asmanim, so he doesn't have a minion. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so let's see how the Gemara says this. When he was standing in front of Rav Chisda, Birati b'Gemara, Bahadi Adadi, no yeshiva guy should listen to this line. Mamash, we're holding by Elul's man, the newsman. All right, first he would go through the Gemara, he would run through, literally. Mirahati b'Gemara literally means to run through the Gemara with each other. And then they would look in the svaras. Instead of starting Daf Beis and not getting past Daf Hey, but he ended his man. Right? They did not do that. Right? They learned it Bekiyas. They went through the whole Masechta, which anybody with a half a brain knows that that's the way it should go. Right? But okay, whatever, no comment. Yeah, fine. So Amarava. Mani mishasim matalalta, kalim, utensils drinking utensils you can keep in the sukkah. Why? Because they don't get disgusting, Rashi says. Mani michla bar matalalta, but food utensils have to go outside of the sukkah. Right? Because they're disgusting, right? With the food on it, it dries up and it looks disgusting. That's out. Once you're done with it, you're out.
Parrots in certain glasses that are never empty, so you don't take them out of the sukkah.
Yeah.
And I would say if you do a good job on your plate, then there's nothing left either.
Yeah. And also, right, it's true. But still, I don't know, maybe it's not 30, I guess. But Toisus has a different shot.
Shulchan Aruch says you're not allowed to slop up with challah the leftovers on your plate.
What are you saying?
Shulchan Aruch says you're not allowed to wipe up whatever's left on your plate with bread. You have to leave it there.
Okay, but that the Velt doesn't. The Velt doesn't go with that. But I don't think. Anyways, Toisus says a different shot, and that's the way Shulchan Aruch paskins. I think it's Shulchan Aruch that paskins that you can't bring serving plates into the sukkah. Right? Meaning, come sukkahs, it's very easy. It's difficult for the women, whoever's serving, to bring each individual plate. So, but just like in a dining room, you would never bring the pot of soup into the dining room and serve out the soup that way, although some people do. But you wouldn't do that. It's the same thing with a sukkah. You shouldn't do that either.
You leave another table outside the sukkah.
I was just by someone's house. They took the trash directly to the dining room to put the garbage away. So it's not subjective. I'm saying it's what everybody usually.
It might be. Maybe it would be subjective, but I don't think it's right because we're going to see that a sukkah does. It's interesting because a sukkah is like your house, but it also has more kedusha than your house.
I don't understand.
What I'm saying is it's not subjective, meaning it's going to come out that the norm is not to put trash in your dining room, so you wouldn't put trash in the sukkah, even if somebody would do it.
But let me say, if somebody would do it, it would be more lenient, but still, it's not exact, right?
Somebody lives in an apartment building on the 5th floor, right? The sukkah's downstairs. They can't bring the whole pan of chicken. They can't bring the whole muffin.
I don't know what they do. It's
So what if they put it in a
Tosfos
big
says not.
serving piece and it's like buffet style? You wouldn't be able
However
to do
you
that?
would
So-
normally serve
Excuse me, nothing personal. Does anybody here live in the fifth floor, walk up? Anybody on the daf tonight?
Not I.
Bar, we caring about Yenim. We have to understand.
I work in a bunch of them.
I don't care where you work. We're not talking about where you work.
I don't think any of your guys are Naftali. I don't think any of your guys are making a sukkah. But and Hanami, I think what you said, put a table outside. Meaning, if you would normally serve like that, fine. If not, not.
Jacob, the question is, what did Reb David Feinstein do in the Lower East Side?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
It's very common.
I would
in
like.
Eretz Yisrael.
I would. What do you say?
It's very common in Eretz Yisrael. The apartments in Yerushalayim. You would go to any of these communities. The sukkahs are all downstairs.
Right. So what do they do? I wonder, Taka. I would like to think, Zev, that Reb David Feinstein ate a little bit less by his meals than we do. Just a thought. But yeah.
Oh, you got a bunch of people eating by his meal also.
I hear.
But see, Yaakov, the din,
Yes.
the way Rashi learns it up that it's talking about utensils. That's not kain to do. You're saying it's al din and kedusha of the sukkah. Because kain
Correct.
to
Yeah, that's a good
do,
point.
you everyone when you eat in the dining room, you have dirty dishes. That's the way it is.
Right, but
When you
but
clean
they
it up,
take them out.
Okay,
So
you
once
take them
you
out when you
finish
want to
with
take them out. Rashi, the Gemara. Then what's the Gemara saying? Yeah, here too, you take them out when you're done. The Gemara is saying your mama should remove them the second you're done. La fuke. Otherwise, what's the Gemara saying? Of course, you take them out. You take them out when you're done. Are they saying you can't leave them there? Like, what are they saying?
Oh, that's very good Amara, by the way.
Yeah, that's
But it seems like Tyson is chaylik in that. Tyson would possibly hold that. No, you can leave them in. It's not such a
I
big
don't know
deal
if
to
he's
leave them in.
chaylik or he's saying it different. I don't know if he's chaylik or he's adding shot.
I think what he's saying is that it's not out the utensils. Well, if he's touching the Gemara differently, then the Gemara never said that you can't keep dishes in there. Only serving dishes you can't keep in there. If he's learning it differently, the Gemara never brought up that seer of regular dishes like plates.
Right, fair enough.
Reb Tziyakov.
Yes.
I have a sefer. It says on each blot, Hilchus Brura. So he writes down, "Aval kliach hila kegan kederis v'karis chutz l'sukkah." Mikol makom b'di'evet.
Yes, but the evidence allowed.
If you bring it inside, or you bring, it doesn't passul. He brings a b'shem. He brings a
okay.
Ayin chazanish. What?
Yeah, it's not going to passul the sukkah. That's for sure not. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Yes.
Can I just butt in for a second?
Yeah.
Sorry. This deal is Chuster for Shalema for Shimon Shleimer Ben Sarah. He asked me to ask it.
Yes.
He got back from the big surgery yesterday. He's not doing great.
Oh yeah. Okay. So he was texting me yesterday. All
yeah,
right.
Me too.
Who's this?
Simon Springer.
Simon has been in the hospital.
No, I know, but I'm
Yeah,
saying he's out. But he said he has a 2-month recovery, but he's otherwise.
Shimon Shleimer, you said?
Yeah,
Shimon Ben Sarah.
All right.
Refuah Shalema. Let's learn.
Yeah. You should have Refuah Shalema b'soy shachar leYisrael.
B'karov.
Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Weiter. Chatzva, the shachel b'amar talalta. A jug and water should also be outside of the sukkah. Yeah. But you're allowed to have a lamp in the sukkah. Yeah, but some say no, you can't have the lamp. You have to have it out of the sukkah. Like one is talking about a large sukkah, one is talking about a small sukkah. Yeah. So if it's a small sukkah, you can have an earthenware lamp. If it starts getting smelly, so therefore it's a problem. But you have a large sukkah, then you can put it off to the side, then it's not such a problem. Yeah. And others say that the pshat is that no, it might act, if it's a small sukkah, you put a lamp in there, then you might burn the whole thing. You might burn the whole sukkah. Yeah. So I don't understand. So then what do you have to, what type of lamp can you bring in there? I don't know. I'm not sure. Not sure. Okay, let's see about the Yarduk Shaman. Yeah, very common scenario. This next one. It starts raining. Tana. How much rain? It's when it's enough rain that it's gonna make the how do you call it? The food, some sort of bean soup or something. It's gonna make it not a soup, but some sort of bean dish. It's gonna make it a little soggy. Oh, chili, is that what it is? Chili. Okay, I hear that. And when it's gonna get it decayed. Abaya was sitting in front of Rav Yosef in the sukkah. Oh, so this Akiva, this is the subject thing. Nation Zika, Kamaisi Tivusa. The wind blew, and what happened was it brought down some pieces of wood, some twigs. Rav Yosef, take away my utensils from here. I'm out of here. Right? I'm leaving the sukkah. We said when the food gets bad, your food is not bad. Now, right, just because some wood is falling down. According to me, since my das, I'm like he has like he's mafunik, he's finicky. For me, it's as if it's the rain, it's as if it's raining in the sukkah. So from here it's mashma that it's mamash subjective. Why don't we tell them? Most people don't care. Right? But we're not telling him, but they didn't tell him that. Right? He said, for me, it's a problem. From this Gemara is mashma that it's subjective. If for you have an issue, right, then you're allowed to leave the sukkah. But really, what? I think the Ramah says that it's not subjective. It's totally in what most people would consider it.
What is Rashi says? It's a small amount of rain. What does that mean? A small amount of rain,
meaning it's not that much rain that you need to get you out of the sukkah.
Nobody explains that. Does anyone explain what that means? Like practically speaking, everyone sits there and debates.
What?
When you're sitting in the sukkah and you see rain come down, how much? Everyone's sitting there trying to figure out what's that shear.
Right.
I'm saying
I don't know. I mean, it's basically if you have food there, that it's going to get ruined. Dafka beans soup, whatever, not soup, some sort of bean dish. I don't know how else to use. I mean, the basic way to do, the real way to estimate it is very simple. If you're sitting in a room in your house and it would start dripping in there from the plumbing or something, when it gets bad enough that you leave the room to sit in a different room, that's when you leave your sukkah.
But is that comparable? Because in your house you have other rooms to go to. So the minute there's a leak, why would you stay there when there's another room for you to go to? Whereas the sukkah, there's no other place. It's either in the sukkah or out of the sukkah. So,
I hear your point.
And that's when you're going to decide if the game is on and that's the only TV with the game on in that room and it starts to leak in that room. Are you leaving that room?
Yaakov, did anybody here ever make sukkahs? Who is on this shear? They never were in a sukkah where it's raining. You either go out in the house or you stay in the sukkah. Like, what is the big deal?
They want to know what the shear is.
What's the shear? You can't tell them what the shear is. Nothing personal to you.
Rabar, as a Chabadker, you sit in the sukkah anyway, so that's fine.
No. What do you have to do with Chabadker? Please. What? I'm not you can't tell anybody what the shear is of the rain. I'm sorry. You could tell us a lot of halachas, and we enjoy them very much. But nobody here ever sat in a sukkah. I don't understand what's going on here.
Somebody sounds a little biased about wanting to stay in the sukkah when it's pouring rain. There's a little bias going on.
Byron, if you build your sukkah early, we can have the daf in your sukkah and you can show us. Same thing like the Erev. Same thing like the Erev. We want to have show and tell with the Erev. We want to have show and tell with the
We're
Sukkah.
trying, Mr. Shem, to go to Israel.
Rabbi, but you have to wear the robe when we come over, so we know it's you.
Yeah. All right. So let's see about it. Yeah. So Torah about it. Right. Everybody knows this Gemara. Right. You're sitting in the sukkah and then it starts raining. V'yorad. Right. Of course, Rabbi has to use v'yorad and he goes down from the sukkah. Yorduk shamim v'yorad.
I wish I had some pictures. I don't know what a sukkah is.
It's mashma from here that the sukkahs, you're going down from the sukkah. It's mashma not like Zev said that you're on the 5th floor. From here, it's mashma, you go down from the sukkah. So the sukkah's on the roof. No? Okay, whatever it is, you go down from the sukkah.
The sukkah is more kaddish. So when you go out, you're going down.
Yaakov, when we lived, a bunch of us lived on Central Avenue.
Good word. What?
When a bunch of us lived on Central Avenue, a small apartment house, we had a sukkah on the roof. The small apartment house, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so the rain came down for Yorad and you went down from the sukkah. Ain't matrichim I say lalois. We're not matrich you to go up. Until the suda is over, meaning you're not mechuyev to leave in the middle of the suda to continue in the sukkah. Now, what happens if you have a shlach? I'm not sure. If you have a shlach, it's still a tircha to get up and uproot yourself.
For what?
Once you're inside,
you're in a shlach, you can stay there?
I personally, yeah, I think you should stay there because there are shittas that hold with a shlach, you're still yaitza. So it's better. But let's say you moved and went inside.
Well,
so you certainly.
Yaakov, I don't understand that. Well, you're Hayashan Tachas Amita at that point, anyways.
No, but there's a sheet that holds that it's okay. So at least for that sheet, you're sitting in the sukkah. But once you picked yourself up, you're not mechuyev to go, even when there's a shlach, because the getting up is the tircha, not the l'chayr, not the rain, even though the rain is also.
What about being paisik? Like once you're paisik suda, like would you be able to eat dessert if it's a separate part of the suda?
That gets into whether dessert is considered part of the suda.
Right, that's what I'm asking. Is that considered for?
I don't know. The chayr bismanazeh, I would say it's the same.
And if you already benched, the chayr you can't eat. You can't even if it stops raining.
Yes.
You can't eat outside.
What I would think so. Once you bench, then you decide to eat more. Then you got to go in the sukkah.
Yeah. Oh, but it's tesvav. No.
Very good. Yeah, there you go. Fine. You're sleeping under the sukkah of Yarduk Sham and it started raining. The Yorad and he went down from the sukkah. So you're not matriach the person to go back to sukkah until it gets light. They had a shayla with an ayin, which means until he gets up. Which means, let's say he gets up 3 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom and he sees it stopped raining. Now he has to go to the sukkah. Or no, until it gets light. Which each one has a kula and a chumrah. Right? Because if it's till you get light, then you have to, I don't know how you wake yourself up exactly, but you'd have to go back in the sukkah when it gets light. Right? And the other one is no, whenever you get up. So Tashema or Bayala Amud Shachar until it gets light and is Allah Amud Shachar. Now what could that mean? That's two different shiurim. Light and Allah Amud Shachar Tarti. So Gemara asks, you're saying two, right? It's 2 different times. Allah Shachar and Netzacham is 2 different times. What it means until you get up and it's light outside. So meaning you get the leniencies of both. If you get up 3 o'clock in the morning, you can go back to sleep. The only time you'd have to go back in the sukkah is if you get up and it's light outside and you see it stopped raining, then you can't go back to sleep. All right, then you got to go schlep your stuff back to the sukkah. Fine. Now, which I know, as far as I know, people wouldn't do that.
You're allowed to go back to sleep if it's a lois without davening during the year, even.
Really, you're not allowed to. Correct. Really, you're not allowed to. But that's not. You don't.
You can take a Gemara and go to base measure and learn Be'iyah. That's what it's saying. The Gemara said that before.
It's saying they have to go back into the sukkah.
Don't go into your bed. Don't go into the sukkah. Put on your pants. Go to base measure and learn Be'iyah.
That's what you're supposed to do the whole year.
And then
So it
daven with
seems,
the apes. Gewaldig.
yeah, it seems like the Welt doesn't consider that up. Meaning you just got up to go to the bathroom, you go back to sleep. That's not called being up.
And on Sukkot, it's considered
That's
up.
it. No, I don't know on Sukkot it's considered up either. I'm not sure whether that description is considered. That's considered up.
I'm just saying,
How
when
about
would
Rosh
you?
Hashanah? How about Rosh Hashanah?
move-
Nobody wants to sleep on Rosh Hashanah. You get up to go to the bathroom 5:30 in the morning, Rosh Hashanah. You go back to sleep or not?
Very good.
I'm going back to sleep. I'm saying, as
Very
far as
good.
Allah, when is it that you during the
That's
year
very
you
Yeah.
can't go back to sleep, but on Sukkot you move to the Sukkah to go back to sleep.
Right. I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
Naftali,
Okay,
now
so
this
let's
is talk. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
This is
go ahead,
talking
go
about
ahead.
somebody who went to sleep in the house because it was raining. This is somebody who normally would sleep
No.
in his sukkah.
No, I understand. You went to
So-
sleep in the house because it
So
was
now he
raining.
has this. So now he'll have. I'm not talking about everybody. We're not talking about everybody. Now he'll have an issa to go back into his bed.
No, he has to
go
move.
because it's
Exactly, I understand.
him to
I
sleep in
understand
his
that.
bed.
And it says he's supposed to go move to the Sukkah. I'm saying that he can't move to the Sukkah, go back to sleep. He has to get up and go daven.
But he normally doesn't daven then.
But
It's
the
Yom
halach,
Tov. It's Yom Tov. He's davening 9 o'clock. No.
right? But I think that as far as I remember, the halach is you can't go back to sleep then.
It's
You're
not
supposed to get up.
It. Really, you can't.
Right.
Really, you can't. Okay, let's see. Mashal Ma'adav Adayma. So we said, what's the mashal? That the Welt says it over the way the Gemara's teretz is. So it's a little bit difficult to understand the Gemara's shaila. We all learned the Mishnah as the master, the slave serves the water to the master pours the water on him. That's like us. We don't make the sukkah and Hashem makes it rain, so then we're gone. It clearly shows that he doesn't want our sukkah. But the Gemara doesn't understand that. The Gemara has a shaila. It doesn't mean that the master is pouring the water on us, or maybe doesn't mean that we made a sukkah and then by mistake we spilled, meaning we didn't do it well, and we spilled on the master. Who poured on who? Was it the master onto us or us onto him? Onto the master. Like the master spilled the water on his face. I'm not interested in what you did for me. Yeah. Fine. Now we get into some agadat here. I'm
sorry, I'm sorry. I forgot who I heard it today. Rabbi Rosa said it really depends. I forgot what sheet. It depends on if it didn't rain until then. The first night it rained, but if it rained 2 weeks prior, it's raining every single day. It's not a raya to this mushal. You heard that?
Right. Yeah, I've heard that. And also it depends what climate you're in.
Right. I'm
Some
saying
also say that.
It's really right. He's saying it was applicable. This limit is applicable if the first night hasn't rained in a while, and the first night it rains is the first night of Sukkot. Then that makes sense. Otherwise, it's not. Depends, like you said. It depends on the climate.
I think in general we're talking about Eretz Yisrael.
That's what I would think.
Where it doesn't really rain. It doesn't really rain during Sukkot.
Right. And I think last year it did. No, last year, 2 years ago, rain. Anyway, okay. When the chama gets hit, which l'chayra means an eclipse. Simin ra l'chol olam kula. It's a bad simin to the whole world. Right, a human king makes a meal for his servants, and he puts a light in front of them. He gets angry at them, and he says to his servants, take away the light and leave him in the dark. Right? So when Hashem gives us the sun, the mashal is Hashem gave us the sun, that helps us out. And now if he makes an eclipse, he just took it away from us. So clearly he's not so happy with us. Tani Rameir Reimer calls man Shemairis Laikin. Anytime when the Ma'iris get Malchus, which means the stars, moon, Simin Rala Sinem Sheisol, it's a bad simin to the enemies of Klal Yisrael, which again means that it's a bad sign for Klal Yisrael, just the Gemara doesn't want to say that. So, right, the sun is a bad simin for everybody. The moon or whatever, the stars, that's a bad simon for Klai. So which is a fascinating thing here, because they're used to getting beat up. The Yidden are always the country, the nation. Rashi says, we're always the ones getting the punishment. We're bearing the brunt of the punishment. So it must be, and that's a famous, it's Kedai to read the Rashi, second, the thin line, because especially during Corona, we're just blowing off all these people getting Corona and dying. Is saying the last thin line in the Rashi and the first wide line. Rashi says, all punishments that come in the world, Yeshlem li Yisrael lidoy, Klal Yisrael has to be scared from them. The Loimar and say Loy Bosim and Ze'ela b'shvilenu, and Klal Yisrael has to say that these are coming as simanim for us. Yosim Ishar Umas, more than other nations, and they Shehain Regim Lucas, Yosim Mikulim, because Yidden, for whatever reason, are always the ones that are getting beat up more. So if it's happening in the world, then the stomach, it's aimed at us. So the Gemara says a little sobering. Mashal the Sefer Shabbat based Sefer Tubiyah. It's a mashal to a teacher. Right now, it doesn't mean a Sefer, a scribe. It means a teacher who came to the school, and he already came to school with his straps in his hand. So who's the one that's going to be scared? Sharaga Lucas, the one who's always getting in trouble. He's the one that's the most scared, right? Because he knows that he's probably going to get it first. Yeah. So that's the Moshe of Klai. So, Taner Rabbanon, Bisman Shachama Laika, when the sun gets malchus, Siman Ra Loiv Dekechavim. This is a little different. This one it's bad for Goyim. The sun is bad for Goyim. Lavana, for the moon, like when the Lavana like a Siman Ra L'Saneim Sheisol, that's the bad simon for the enemies of Klai. So, which again we said means us. Why? The pshat is because we use the lunar calendar, and Goyim use the solar calendar. So therefore, the lunar one has to do with us.
I don't understand why don't we say regarding Simanim that these are all we're above that? Klal Yisrael is above that. Is that the whole thing with Abraham Avinu? I don't understand why is this any shaykhs? Don't we say we're above Mazalis? Isn't this an idea of Mazalis?
I have no idea. I mamash have no idea. I don't know. I don't. There clearly is some sort of thing with mazel. That's for sure.
Right, but I'm saying didn't Akash Baruch tell Avraham Avinu that Klal Yisrael is going to be above the mazalis? I mean, that was kind of the point.
So I don't know. I don't know. Okay, right. The like of the Mizrach, if it gets malchus when it's in the east, meaning in the morning, Siman Ra L'Yoshvi Mizrach, it's bad for those that are in the east. But Ma'ariv, Siman Ra L'Yoshvi Ma'ariv. If it happens when the sun's in the west, it's bad for those that are in the west. But Emtza Rakia, if it happens in the middle, like in the middle of the day, Siman Ra L'Chaloy L'Kuloi. Fine. Panav Daivin L'Dam. If the face of the sun looks very red, which it does by sunset. So I don't know how that works. Cherab B'Lo'elam, then that means that there's going to be, Cherab means swords. War is coming to the world. Yeah, the sack, but when it looks like a sack, which means it looks darker, Chitzei Rabba B'Lo'elam, then that means literally it means arrows of hunger are coming to the world. The Lazu, if it's both red and dark, then Cherab v'Chitzei Rabba B'Lo'elam, then both are coming to the world, war and famine. If it gets laka when it's going in, meaning at sunset at shkia, Puranis shayalava, then Puranis it's going to take long for the punishments to come. But if it's when it comes out, meaning in the morning, the Maharas love it's going to come fast. That some say chiluf hadorm, it's the opposite.
See, interrupt.
Like Rashi says, it'll be delayed and it won't be delayed. Yeah, what are you saying?
Stowe, look at the Marsha, page 10, the top of the Amud. He talks about it.
Does he? Yeah?
Yeah, page 10 in the Marsha.
Very good. Okay, I'll check it out. There's no nation that gets Malchus, that it's God's, or I don't know, it doesn't really mean God's, but it means whatever things are controlling them. Like Akiva was saying. Shenemar ubechol lekem Mitzrayim eser shvatim. right? And all the gods of Mitzrayim, I'm going to make judgments, right? When Klal Yisrael does the Ratzon and Makim, Ein Misyaron Mikol Elu, you don't have to be scared. As long as Klal Yisrael knows what they're doing correct, they don't have to be scared. Shenemer Koyam Hashem, Al Derech Hagayim Al Tulamdu Meosis Shemaim Al Techasu Ki Yachsu Hagayim Mehema. Avdecham Yechasu Ve'en Yisrael Yechasu. Goyim are going to get walloped, and the Yidden are not going to, which maybe is a little bit of a stira. But as long as Klal Yisrael knows that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, then it's fine. Yeah, I actually was talking to Rav Harfinis last week, and he was talking about how it seems like Bachrim are getting a lot of punishments, right? In the Meron Nebuch, and then they had a few Bachrim last week. So he said an interesting word. He said we could have a taina on Hashem. He says what because Hashem is having tainas on the Bachrim. Let's say he's saying let's say he is. But he's saying let's say he's having tainas on Bachrim. So what do we do? What do we say about nowadays if a kid goes off a little bit? You say you got to be makar of them. Don't punish them. You got to be makar of them. Give them right. That's what all the experts are saying. Kids that are going off the there, makar. So we have to tell Hashem that if he's upset at us that we're going off, Hashem be makar of us. Don't punish us. We have to try to tell Hashem, no, be makar of us. That's the way we do it. That's the way we do it in this world. So we got to tell Hashem to be makar of us also. It was an interesting thing. Okay, yeah.
One of the things that Smashar says is that the Rebbe shouldn't hit kids who normally don't learn. You should only hit the kids who normally do learn. The kids who normally don't learn. The Rebbe shouldn't hit them. Yeah.
Very good. So turn about five things that
someone should have told that to my Rebbe.
Well, I was sending them to my Maramakumis in this Marsha.
Personal sessions are later.
Right.
Naftali, well, we wouldn't have you in Farakaway if they didn't beat you. So I mean, we're happy about
it. No, it was referring to this morning's conversation.
I understand.
We know that.
Yeah. The Torah Rabbanim, B'shvil arba dvarim chama like for four things the chama gets beat up. Allah bezdin shemeis ve'ein nisper kil halacha, and not bezdin who dies and they don't properly give him a spade. And val naira murasa shetzaka be'ir ve'ein mashila, a woman who's going to get raped in a city and nobody saves her. Val mishkav zachar and on mishkav zachar, val shnei achin shenishpach daman kechen, and two brothers who got killed at the same time. Yeah. Fine. Some of these things Rashi says he doesn't understand what it means. Like, and there's four things that cause like the stars and all that to get Malchus. Al Kosher plaster, those that write fake documents, which is a shtickle in Yonah D'Yoma, because I get this question fairly often about forging COVID tests. Yeah. The sheker, those that say false testimony. They bring up behemoth in Eretz Yisrael, which is lambs and sheep, because they go. Rashi says they go eating everybody's grass. And those that cut down good trees, which is really an issa d'oraisa. It's baltashchis. We learned the pasuk of baltashchis from fruits. Right, and Rashi says you're not makar toiv to Hashem. Now, everybody gets crazy with cutting down fruit trees nowadays. So if you have a good reason to cut it down, it's not a problem. Because it's not about tashkos, you have a good reason. However, Rabbi Yehuda Chassid, in his tzava, said that cutting down fruit trees is very, very bad. So that's why Chassidim, no way. They will no way cut down a tree. That's why Landau's, they built it around that tree, right? But that again, according to the Iker Halacha, about tashkos is only if you have no reason. You have a good reason, and it's allowed. But Rabbi Yehuda Chassid came and made everything much more chomer.
Are you allowed to trim it, or you're just not allowed to cut it down?
There are shitas that say you could trim it. Yeah. You could
what about transplanting it somewhere else?
Yeah, so that's one of the eitzes also that they bring, that you transplant the tree someplace else. That's what a lot of people do. It's not cheap. Or the other eitzah.
That's a good eitzah.
Yeah. No, that's the other eitzah, Leo, that you sell the whole tree to a guy and let the guy cut it down.
You missed my joke. It's a good eitzah.
I got you.
It's good eitzah. Very good.
I just laughed while I was muted.
Very good, man.
It was for the Rebbe.
There you go. Very good. the malchus, and for 4 things, people's money they get repossessed. Their stuff gets their houses get repossessed. Almashi shtaris peruim, people that hold on to shtaris that were already paid, meaning IOU notes that they already collected on, they hold on so they can collect again. Malvi beribis, and if they lend beribis, on the base. And people that they could make a macha against people who were misbehaving, they didn't make a macha because they were too powerful. And people that pledge money in public and then they don't end up paying them.
Is this a famous thing? I'm sorry. Is it a famous thing to quote multiple things where people should to lose the money? Yeah.
I don't know if it's a famous thing. I mean, I don't know if the Gemara is anywhere else in Shas.
I remember. I remember there's Gemara in Gittin that says there are 3 reasons, different reasons why people lose the money. And I'm just curious, are there multiple places in Shas that they talk about different things? Like, why wouldn't they all list them together? Because the Gemara in Gittin,
I don't know. I hear
it's clearly completely different.
Right. No, I hear what you're saying. So I don't know.
I'll show you after.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a Rab. B'shvil arba dvarim nichsei balabatim yotzim the timyon. You can say exactly what this means. I don't know. There's 4 reasons why they get destroyed. So the last one is it gets repossessed. Here it gets destroyed. Right? Al koif sheis charsa. There are people that don't pay their workers on time. Val oishke says, and those that don't pay them at all. Al shaparkin ol me'al tzavrein, and those that are pyrik ol from their necks and nice and al chavrein, meaning they kick the can to somebody else, let somebody else take care of it. Val gasas aruach. And people that are balei gaiva, right? Meaning they because they're wealthy, they push their power onto other people. The gasses saruach keneged chul, and the gasses ruach is the same as all of them. Our banovim, ksiv banovim yishu aretz bisangu aroiv shalom, right? Humble people are going to inherit the world, the land, and they're going to be happy with their peace. Right? So basically, you got to be humble. Hadran Allah hayashan. L'chaim, Peretz, L'chaim.
Tiago, look what I found in my attic. You see this? It's a bamboo. It's a bamboo schnapps cup from Costa Rica. Somebody got it for me.
Unbelievable. So you can use it and then put it on top of it. No, you can't put it on the schach and then you become muksa.
No, it was made into kli. You can't use it for schach.
Whoa.
Yeah, are you coming tomorrow?
Yeah.
That was a test to see if you were paying attention.
Very good.
Okay, so we'll stop over here.
What time tomorrow?
We said 10 to 6. 10 to 6. It's a shorter daf, so we could do 10 to 6.
Art School users bring a new volume tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah, it's a new.
What happened?
Speaking of which, if anybody needs, I have an extra one. It's free. I have 2 of them. If anybody needs one, please let me know. They can come by and pick it up. You need it, Avi? Kind of like.
Check if
perfect.
I have one.
Paris, we didn't even start the bidding process. What do you mean you give it away so quickly like that? Paris.
I didn't get the check.
You know what? What am I gonna do with 2 of them? I can barely do with 1. I'm gonna do with 2.
Well, if you're seeing double, you just open them next to each other.
All right, supply and demand. The day tomorrow, everybody needs it. I mean, you don't just give it away. What's the matter with you?
What are you giving away? What are you giving away? I'm Jewish. What are you giving away?
It's taking up room. It's taking up
He
room.
has an extra kitchen cabinet. Giving it away.
Nah, there's not an extra.
What's that, shot glass?
What do you say, Avi? What do you say?
Hey, you guys just a lot of heaters. He offered it to everybody. You guys are all just sleeping. You got to go cool.
That's right, Landau. You hear that? They're making fun of you. You were sleeping.
I got a phone call. What are you offering?
He needs help schlepping something tomorrow.
I'm busy. Sorry.
He's up in the country.
Yeah. I'm still hungover from Unicorn's wedding.
He needs a ride to LaGuardia.
Liner's going because the rabbi needs to book a ticket.
At the counter.
Terrible. All right, I got in everybody.
Oh, Parrots.
I'm gonna have to go soon.
3 envelopes that were delivered to your mother's house. They disappeared somewhere. If someone gives them to you because they see it's from an alcohol company, let me know if you find them.
Fine. but I would check with my nephew.
It's hold on. They look like this. It's those Maker's Mark
I got you. I hear you.
ones. So 3 of the envelopes went to your mother's house, but no one knows where it is. But I just figured someone saw it was alcohol, so they might have given it to you. So if it turns up, let me know.
Oh, Jesse, remind me, I have something for you also. It's in the back of my car next time I see you, yeah?
I'm always around. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Bourbon
Tell
guy.
everybody.
You got it. Good night.
I can come right now if it's bourbon, you know.
It's not bourbon, it's bourbon related.
Huh.
By the way, you know, they started, I saw in Costco to have a bourbon aged in wine casks.
Oh. I don't know. I know that there's also one in rum casks.
What, a bourbon?
Yeah.
So no,
Well,
usually
Breckenridge.
bourbons, everybody says, oh yeah, the bourbons are kosher. The only shiloh with the bourbons are the chametz that they're owned by a yid. But now they started doing it. Now they started doing it in the wine now.
Yep. Fun times. Ladatov, l'chaim.
L'chaim.